It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
You want something, go get it. Period.
You gotta keep moving, let's go. Don't quit until you got nothing left.
This is where we have been, this is how we got here, this is who we are.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You're listening to the Hustle Indie Show, where we seek out some of Indie's most hustling people and places to learn about what they do, how they got started, and where they're going. Sit back and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Hustle Indie Show. I'm your host, Brendan, joined as always by the wonderful Ian D. Felice. We're back with an episode. If you didn't notice, we don't have a guest this episode. I guess you wouldn't have noticed anyways. We do every episode like this at the beginning.
This is the intro.
But anyways, for this one, we thought we'd just do a quick little episode to do a recap for this season. This will be the season finale for season 2. We've got some guests lined up for season 3 already. We've got some changes coming. So we just wanted to hop on here, kind of walk through our experience with what this past season has looked like, what we've learned. Just go over some of the guests that we've had conversations with, some of the stuff that's been really touching for us, and then look forward to the future. So,
The
Ian,
future is bright.
how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a rainy couple days, but just glad to be here. Glad to be working with you, and just still every time we talk about this, it blows my mind that we are now. This is our episode 15 now of season 2. We started this back in October, and here we are in
It's crazy.
basically May.
Yeah, it's almost May already.
So yeah, time is flying, and it's just been a blessing to do this, and so I'm excited to actually recap. We come in this morning and decided that we wanted to do this sort of kind of personal episode with just us two talking about what we've learned, and I'm excited to go over it because a lot of this stuff I probably would be good to hear about again.
Yeah, so like this is probably similar to, so we've gotten this season alone 15, we'll call them lectures.
Yeah.
So liken this to a class. We've gotten 15 lectures on 15 different topics, 15 different stories. We've learned about 15 different people.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of like that class period before the final where we go over everything, touch on the stuff that hit the most, and like this is going to be just really refreshing for us, for the listeners, to be able to just reflect on some of the important stuff that we heard this season, and just kind of look forward to the future and see how we can tie it all together. So first episode that we had was with Jeff Moulton. So thinking back, this is going to take a lot of reflecting because we weren't able to listen to all 15 episodes or 14 episodes. Jeff Moulton, Tappers Arcade.
Yeah.
Right down the street, actually.
Yeah. First of all, that was one of my favorite places to go to and actually like get photos of. It was just very entertaining to be in that environment. I've never been there like in the nighttime or like going out with people yet, just because I haven't really just gone out very much because of everything happening. But being in there and taking photos and seeing all of the arcade games, it was like, dang, I didn't even know this many existed.
My dad and I actually went back there an evening, not too long after that episode, because he watched the episode and he was like, oh, place looks awesome, let's go.
Yeah.
And so we went and got a couple drinks and walked around. Like him and I would just take turns playing every single game with each other. And it's really cool. It's an awesome idea to be able to like partner such a social atmosphere with something that so many people have nostalgic feelings about.
I was going to say, I think that for me on his episode, the thing that stood out to me the most was just simply just what he did, was just how unique it was. I think being able to have a city that has people that are inspired to do unique things like that really what makes a city so entertaining to be in, and so I don't know, it keeps things on its toes. You don't have the exact same type of bar every place you go. Like you see a place like this, you're like, whoa, I gotta go try that out. Like my city, just being able to say your city offers something like that. Someone comes out of town, they want to try someplace new where maybe their home doesn't offer it. Like that's the place you would take them.
Yeah, no, super cool.
Yeah,
super
so
unique.
I just really loved what he's doing, and his passion for it too. How he
that was what I really liked about it, was that this was something that he just didn't see a money grabbing opportunity for. Like he was already in his home taking apart machines, doing like all of the collecting for video games, for pinball machines, and like he's already passionate and involved with that side of things. that he found a way to make his passion his life.
Yeah.
And I think that was what's really, really cool about this story in particular. Yes, one, that it's such a unique opportunity, but two, that he's able to make such a unique thing his life and turn it into something that sustains things. And no, I really, really liked that episode. I'm trying to reflect back on certain points, but I know.
First of all, my memory has always been rather slim, but this is gonna be tough for me.
And anything else for the season 2, episode 1 with Jeff Moulton?
Man, I don't know. I think when it comes to like the business side of things, because being in business school, that's usually what stands out to me a lot. His ability, kind of like what you were saying, was doing everything from his home. How he said he sold all his furniture, had to just keep everything in his house, and starting out like that, and then seeing where he is today. You work hard enough, you will achieve success in one way or another.
Yep.
So that was for me was really, really important.
So season 2, episode 1, Playing Games with Jeff Moulton. Amazing episode.
Definitely go check him out. Virginia Avenue?
Yeah,
That's on
it's
Virginia.
right down here in Fountain Square. Yep. Listen to the episode. Check him out. Go see what they're doing over there at Tapper's Arcade Bar. Next episode was with Keep Indie. So we had 2 gentlemen in here.
Yes.
Talking about what they do, how they got started doing what they're doing, and just kind of the market that they're in.
Yeah.
Of helping promote local businesses, helping to grow, create, and provide content for local businesses. And we've actually stayed in contact with Vito
Very
pretty
much
well.
so, yeah.
Following him.
Yeah.
I see him
Well,
at
he
the
goes
gym.
to your gym,
I
yeah.
see him at the gym every now and then. He's been doing some amazing stuff when we had March Madness here, he was doing some work with Time Warner. Was it Warner Brothers?
He's worked for
Brothers.
Warner Brothers. I mean, he's gone out into Florida and California, done stuff for like hotels and companies out there. He's really becoming a star.
Well, it's that FPV drone that's getting him that work. Which, speaking of FPV drones, you got one.
I did. I bought one. And as we have both found out from flying just the simulation, it is extremely, extremely difficult. I have now gotten to the point where I can fly without crashing, at least in the air. But man, being able to go from 0 to what now Vito does is really impressive. But speaking of Keep Indie, I think if you have Instagram, you know about them. I think they said that I would say most likely they're the most followed Instagram page in Indianapolis account. And their mission and their dedication to their mission of staying to local business. I guess my main takeaway from that episode was that how they have not strayed. They've had tons of people like outside companies wanting to work with them, or like chain companies wanting to work with them, and they have stayed loyal to their original goal of keeping indie and keeping it local and keeping it unique, and that's commendable, I think.
No, yeah, I think that was the episode, at least this season, that we really started to feel the like tight knittedness of Indianapolis, and just like we started to enter that space of all of the people in this community that are dedicated to helping out other businesses, making things work, and making this community a better community. And I think that episode, and especially what Keep Indie's doing, really highlighted that aspect of Indianapolis.
Sure.
I mean, we sit here and harp on how much of a community Indianapolis is, like episode after episode, story after story. We hear all of these people coming in and starting stuff and seeing how much the community has helped out.
Yeah.
And it's people like Keep Indie with their mission to just help generate awareness of local businesses, push people, drive traffic over there. It's just so cool to see them not only having that mission, but like you said, the dedication towards that mission, actually executing, turning away people that are huge chains. Like, that's hard to do. It's not easy to say no to people, especially
with that much money.
Yeah. You get this huge offer, like, hey, we'll give you this much money to post this on your account, and you're like, oh, but you're not local. Sorry.
Right.
And really, really cool, the mission that they're behind and just their dedication.
And from a marketing perspective, the quality of content is very, like, even when it's cool because they also just pull from, they repost a bunch of like local photographers and videographers stuff as well, which is just like we've both been reposted on there. Like they take little people and that produce cool content in the Indianapolis area, and they spread it out there. It's like, dang, it really shows you that there's people living next to me that are able to make what I see every day even look more beautiful than, it's just like, oh, it's so cool. And highlighting all the awesome areas of Indy, you're like, I didn't even know, like, this photo, where the heck was this taken? Indianapolis?
Yeah.
What? Where the heck am I supposed to go to find this? Like, so many places like that. Like, it's fun, especially from, like, a photographer sense of, point of view, just being like, oh, I definitely need to go check that out.
Yeah.
Or, like, I want to go get a shot from there. Like, there's many times that I've gone and been like, that's a really cool shot. I want to go find where that's at.
Yeah. And they do a really good job at balancing like quality of content, like just like artsy, like artistic side of things. Like you look through their feed, like there's just really cool spots of Indianapolis, but they also balance it well with like local businesses.
Yep.
So like they've got stuff like where they're just highlighting a local business.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a couple places where I've seen on here specifically and been like, oh, let's go try that out.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate that. Again, really curated well. The feed
Very,
is really
very well.
curated.
Yep.
Very intentional and just their mission, man. Like,
yeah. Like if you live in Indy and have an Instagram account, it is
gotta follow
100%
them.
worth the
Yeah.
follow. You'll like we just said, like you'll find somewhere new. You'll find a local shop right next to you that you didn't know about. I mean, we'll get to the further episodes of some places I didn't know about, but like they're a great source for just information too. So commendable. Awesome work.
yeah,
I
go
love
listen
what
to their
they do.
episode.
Yeah.
Go check them out. Follow them. I mean, if you are a local business owner,
Yeah.
reach out to them. Ask them
Absolutely.
how they can help you. I'm sure they're more than willing to help. Next episode. Episode 3, On the Block with John Nelson.
This was actually one of my favorite ones.
This was a
season.
deep one.
It,
We had
yes.
like deep intellectual thoughts.
Yeah.
Just really, man.
Because I didn't know, I had no idea what to expect. So
Yeah, same.
Brendan and Ryan do most of the connections with like trying to get new guests on the show. So they're like, okay, we got this John Nelson guy. He does a podcast. I'm like, okay, like that's cool. I have no idea.
The Block podcast, by the way.
Yeah, the Block. It's spelled BLOC, right? Or is it CK?
No, it's okay.
Okay, cool. I'm stupid. But no, when he came on, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then we got into some topics, and I was just like, he is wise. Like he's been through the ringer, and he's come out the other side.
Yeah, it's not that he's
Wiser
like
for it.
He's not just textbook smart.
Exactly.
He's got wisdom and experience that's
Yeah.
driving that wisdom, and it's just like he came from the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah.
Like he's in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Like he shared a little bit of his story, and like to hear of someone who has a background like that, see where they're at today, but also see their drive to prevent people from going down that same path.
I was gonna say his spirit behind it all too. He's joyful. Like every time, and when we went to his studio after to get some photos and a video, and he was just like so happy to see us. Like always happy. He gave us a call a couple weeks later, and like just out of the blue, and just like that's the kind of person I love to be around. Who's not surface level, who doesn't just live for doing a job. Like he has so much. I don't even know. Like he just a full spirit
He's
to
real.
be around. Yeah, very real.
He's real. He keeps it real. He doesn't try and put on a front.
Right.
Like in today's society, it's really easy to just put the facade on, figure out how you can polish up this look,
Right.
and not have anything inside.
Yeah.
And man, it is so refreshing to have someone come in and it's like, I'm me.
Yeah.
Like this is my story. I'm gonna share it with you. I'll be real with you. I'll be honest with you, because I don't want you to feel like you have to struggle down these same paths that I went down.
Right.
Really, I mean, man, such an encouragement, such a refreshment.
Very encouraging. And seeing his goal is to start speaking at schools and stuff. Like that is just a genuine person who's just trying to make the world a better place. And that's his passion. And that, I mean, it really wasn't, it was a different pace because it wasn't like business related or like what his success was. It was truly just his heart behind everything.
Well, yeah. And I think discussing his background and how he got to where he is just shows that his hustle was his heart.
Yeah.
Like just his intention, his passion, and his love for others, just being a real person. Really good episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go check out.
If you want some encouragement and to hear just a genuine person, he's definitely, that's the episode 3.
Yep, go listen to that episode with us. Check out the Block Podcast. He interviews some awesome people on there. Yeah, that was episode 3. Episode 4, Indy's History with Jim Rawlinson.
Oh, yes. Oh,
so he's got several roles, doesn't he? A couple roles.
Dude, don't ask me to remember these facts, but yes.
He's got ties with the government in Indianapolis.
Something to do with the chamber, maybe?
Chamber of Commerce, maybe, something like that.
Maybe right, yeah.
But anyways, this episode, one of the most informative episodes.
Yep.
I walked away knowing more about our city
Yep.
than I did before I started this podcast.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
incredible. We learned about a lot of like the tax problems with like Indianapolis struggles with,
Yes,
like people that
yeah.
live in other counties, work in Indianapolis, they get the tax dollars go to their counties where they
Mm-hmm.
live. So Indianapolis has to try and figure out a way to make ends meet for funding
Yeah.
and development within the city.
And like how Indy is a unique city, like we were literally just pointed to a place on the map.
Yep.
We started, and then like all of Marion County is just one part of the city instead of like Irvington being its own area and things like that. We also talked about the biggest thing for me that I learned was, and just was it was fun to listen to, is like how a city develops and grows, or like how
Yeah.
he saw it develop and grow. Like I
Yeah.
think he said he was originally from Irvington, and then moved away because it was going down, and then he saw it coming back up. He's like, and just hearing like his perspective, and just it's always fun hearing, especially coming from like a real estate side, like
Yeah.
how neighborhoods grow and contract and become better, or they drop off, and why that is, the reasoning behind it. Like how do you effectively grow a certain area of town or a part of a city? Like that was just like, oh man, this is so cool.
Yeah, no, it was super informative. Loved sitting down and just, again, give him a space to just
Yeah.
talk about all the stuff that he knows
Yeah.
and is working towards
Yeah.
for Indianapolis. We got kind of an inside look, a peek behind the curtain
Yeah.
of some of the conversations that are going on within the government in
Government,
Indianapolis.
yeah.
How they're wanting to be intentional about supporting local businesses, developing neighborhoods, and maintaining that community of Indianapolis as they're trying to develop it.
Yep.
And it was really encouraging. Again, every episode's encouraging. I feel like I overuse that word, but really encouraging to see someone that's got a foot in that door
Yeah.
and is still working towards maintaining what we're hearing from every other
Yep.
small business
The
owner.
actual business owners. Yeah.
So
If you want, if you feel like being a sponge and learning more about Indy, that episode 4 was definitely the episode to go check out.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Thank you to Jim Rollinson for sharing and sitting down and having that conversation. Be sure to check it out. Episode 5, Connie Superfoods. We had Joe Laconi Superfoods.
Oh, man.
Joe.
Joe. I want to say it's Laconii, man. Gosh.
Either way, his name is what the company
Yes.
disregard.
I'm
our-
so bad at this.
We're bad. We're sorry. We apologize. But this episode was really cool. A young guy.
I was gonna say,
This was
a guy our age. Yeah.
A unique point in the entrepreneurial venture.
Very different perspective
Mm-hmm.
than I would say basically every other episode that we did.
Yeah.
Literally just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Like had just launched his product, was just rebranding in the next week after we finished. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the very beginning stages. So it wasn't like, oh, what I've learned from it. It was basically, here's what I'm excited to do.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. It was like, oh man, that you can tell like, in the difference of like the years learned and like wisdom gained, because he's like all gung ho about it, and like had all of these ideas and just like spirited about doing certain things. Like that's what you love to see, especially when someone in his position, like it encouraged me because I'm kind of in the same position, you know, like being at that real estate agent, like, I want to go out there and do all these things. Like seeing someone else in a similar positions, like if they're doing it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So seeing his passion behind what he does too. And I think the best thing for me was after the episode, seeing on his like Instagram page and things like that, other like all of these successes,
Yes.
doing, like going on runs with a bunch of
Yeah.
people, like really embracing the effort behind it. For me, that was the best part.
And it's just super encouraging too to know that this wasn't his full-time gig. Like he was working
Right,
full-time. This was the stuff that he was doing on the side. Like he was,
yeah.
like you said, Saturday nights in the kitchen throwing on some music and just trying to whip up some new recipes.
Right.
I think that's just so cool. Again, this is just credit to like, I'm sure every entrepreneur starts off in a similar boat where
Yeah,
they've got,
yeah.
I mean, you have to make ends meet at the beginning.
You
So
hear the
you've gotta
story all
work.
the time. Yeah.
You got to
yeah.
start doing your passions on the side, and somehow, if you're willing enough and you've got that entrepreneurial drive, you'll end up making your passions your job.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing here. I think we're a little bit before that process where this
Yeah.
turns into the day-to-day.
Yep.
But he's doing everything he can. Every extra minute he has in the day
Yeah.
is spent making recipes, perfecting the craft, and working on getting this thing to where it needs to be.
Yeah, and he just started bringing at the time, he had just brought his brother on board.
Yep.
He had big dreams, you know, wanting to be the number one, basically like superfood in all of Indianapolis, Indiana, Midwest, like these big goals. And if he continues that energy, I really think he's gonna have that success. Just got to put in the hours, put in the work.
Yep.
Joe. But that was a fun episode.
It was a lot of fun.
Great guy, good friend. Yeah.
Yeah, so be sure to check out that episode 5 with Connie Superfoods, everything you need, nothing you don't.
Yeah, go buy some. Go try it out.
Go try their food
if
out.
If you
It's
need a
actually
healthy
really good.
alternative to a spread for your toast, something to snack on instead of ice cream at night, definitely give it a shot. You know, if you don't like it, that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Show
you might
them
end
some
up
love.
loving it, and it'll be a great alternative choice.
So the next episode 6, Connecting Indy with Indy Hub. We had Blake Johnson
Yes.
on the episode talking about all the stuff that they're doing
Yeah.
over at Indy Hub. Something that I don't think either of us were familiar with
Had
before
no
we got
idea.
this episode on.
Yeah.
And we're really, really in awe of.
Yeah.
Of the just hearing of an organization that has this mission, this drive, and this like purpose is just such a cool idea.
It's the ideal. It would be something where every city was like, oh man, we need something like this and this, and that's exactly what they do. They connect. I guess a good way to put it is it reaffirmed what we were saying in the beginning about like Indy being the community. That's legitimately Indy Hub's job. Yep. They connect every mostly younger generation people that are either just moving to Indy or have lived here but want to branch out. They've connected with each other. They connect them to people that have lived here and that are experienced in areas that they're interested in too. Like you put what you're interested in, whether it's sports or music or art or whatever it may be. They'll find someone with those same general interests. They'll connect you guys. You create a one-on-one connection. They have leadership opportunities.
Yeah.
They just have networking opportunities. Like it's such a cool concept and idea, and an even better, like I guess, business model for really just making the city a better place and a more welcoming place.
This is like a real life LinkedIn. It's
Yes,
everything
yes.
social media wants and tries to be,
Yeah.
but will never be able to be because it removes that
Right.
human element and
Right.
that real to real, like face to face
Yeah.
interaction.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you see on LinkedIn, like you have this many connections, you're getting this
Yeah.
connected. Like networking is a huge thing. They're doing that
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
not just virtually.
Right.
I think during this last year they had to navigate the difficult waters and reinvent the wheel a little bit. But I mean, they are literally all about the business of making connections, networking, but with a purpose and with
Yeah.
intentionality.
Yeah.
Like he shared the story of a young man that moved here from out of town, didn't know anyone.
Yep.
And
Yep.
got him into, was it a suite at a Pacers game or something like that?
It was some
And
major event.
started getting connected, got him like connected with a company, started working for a job, and just like it's stuff like that that goes the extra mile and really not just builds a connection, but helps build a sustainable life.
Yeah.
Like you can feed it's like a Chinese proverb: fish for a man, feed him for a day; teach a man to fish, feed him
Right.
for life.
Right.
And this is kind of one of those things where it's not just, hey, here's a connection. It's like, hey, get to know you. Let's go out. Let's
Yeah.
watch a Pacer game. Let's go get coffee. Let's go get lunch.
Yep.
I want to know about you, your story. Hey, this guy has a similar story. This
Right.
guy's similar
Right.
story here. Here's a job opportunity. What are your skills? And like really trying to build that
Yeah.
connection, not just saying, oh, hey, you guys have this in common.
For sure, for sure. And I think one of the things he said, and I don't remember the fact exactly, but it was something like people that move into a city, if they don't connect with anybody
Oh,
in the
yeah.
first like 60 days or something, then the odds of them leaving are like 90%
Yeah.
or something crazy like that. So that they really do target people. And I think the age, they didn't really have an age cutoff, but it was like generally under like 35 or something
Yeah.
like that. But targeting those people, because that is what brings life to a city. There's a place for every generation or whatever, but what really brings the next best thing, or what really brings positive growth, is typically that age group. And
Yeah.
so being able to make them feel like this is not just a place where they go to work and have to go home and live, but like this is their home. They feel comfortable to go out. They know where different things are now. They know where they can meet up with some of their newfound connections, newfound friends. And so if you're listening to this and you're just moved to Indy, or you're in that age group and you're trying to figure out what to do, you maybe just got a job, definitely check it out. They are doing something very, very important, and it really will only work if more people keep getting involved. So yeah, definitely listen to it and get involved, because very important.
I think the offensiveness of stuff like Indie Hub is what keeps Indie's tight-knit community going. So rather than just saying, oh, we have a tight-knit community, sitting back and being passive about things and just trying to let passively let a tight-knittedness come together, they're on the offense. They're saying, unless we do something, we're not going to have a tight-knit community. So they are making sure that the tight-knittedness of Indianapolis, that community feel, stays. They're not just passively sitting back and hoping that nice people reach out to other nice people. They're getting the ball rolling. They're starting things off. They're saying, hey, let's facilitate this. Let's keep this community growing. Let's keep these connections growing. And let's just make this a better place. And great episode. Check them out. Listen to our episode with them. Go show them some love. Get connected on Indie Hub and see what they're doing. Episode 7. Supporting local business with Open in Indiana.
Oh my goodness, yes, of course.
We had Ryan Henry in talking about him and his wife running Open in Indiana. Kind of another one of those platforms that just highlights local businesses, shows things that are open, things that are available. And it wasn't just like a website where you could post about your business. It was kind of like a social media platform.
Another connection site. And I naming all of these episodes and the people that we've interviewed is just kind of making me reflect, like, before doing this podcast, or like if I hadn't have had this podcast, I would have not learned about basically any of these people or what they're doing, and especially like Indie Hub and Open in Indiana. Like, they're doing some very important work. It's not just like a very convenient place to go find like local businesses, but like kind of, again, hitting on that point of, this is what really makes a certain community, and in their case, a state, really feel way more connected and involved in one of each other. And it was just cool how him and his wife were doing it. That was that for me. I love hearing that. Just a guy and his wife really just out there pursuing what they love. Yeah. Again, and doing a great job at it nonetheless. I love this episode. I love what they're doing more.
It's just another. I mean, we can only beat the dead horse so much. Exactly. Like, it's just another example of how intentional our community, our city is about making sure that we're tight knit, making sure that we're doing our part in connecting people, supporting people, and building people up. And man, great episode. Go show them some love. Yeah. See what they're doing. I think it's openinIndiana.com. If you just Google them, you'll find them. If you've got a small business or you're doing something that you want to make known, or you just want to get connected, really good website to look into. Make a profile. Go get set up over there.
Do it. Highly recommend it.
Episode numero 8. We had Colts head coach's wife, Linda Reich, on the episode. Generating awareness with Linda Reich.
Getting into some deep topics again.
Talking about their nonprofit organization that they started not today. All about generating awareness and helping to facilitate prevention and restoration for child or children's that have been sexually exploited, sexually abused, sexually trafficked, just trying their best to, again, generate awareness. Not make this a conversation that people are afraid to have, and not make people that have been victims of this afraid to have conversations. And man, really good episode.
First of all, shout out to Eric. Thank you so much as a buddy of ours for getting us connected with Linda. It was truly a pleasure to be able to sit down with someone like that and hear, because I don't know, when you hear about a semi-famous person, you just don't know what their life's like. You don't know what they do, what they're like.
Well, you can dehumanize them.
Exactly. It's so easy to. Oh, that's just the Colts head coach, or that's just the Colts head coach's wife. Okay, like, what about that person? And her, I don't know, she was just so kind and
she was so passionate.
Yeah, just
motivated,
she
driven,
truly
and passionate.
Loved. You could tell she truly loved the kids that they're trying to help. Too. And but she definitely had that fighting spirit to her, where she
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make
Yeah.
this work.
You don't tell me no. I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah. So that episode was very, it did get very deep, and it made you kind of think about a lot of things, and it made you realize that, man, this is the biggest thing for me is like all this kind of things, like this is happening all the time.
It happens.
All the time, every place.
Yep.
Like we went up and shot a commercial for them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a community
But
awareness
it was
event.
up in Fairmont.
Yeah, small town.
And then the story of the girl, and you can look it up. I think her name was Chesney, something Chesney. But her story, I mean, just like it happens everywhere, even in a little small town like that, much less in a big place like this. So, yeah, it's happening all around. We can't be afraid to talk about it. So, thank you, Linda, for not only coming on, but being able to start something so impactful, and being able to plant it in Indianapolis.
Well,
I
and
think is
using
really
their
cool.
platform not
Yeah.
just to build themselves up, but to build
Yeah.
up a cause.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about that a little bit in the episode. Just
Yeah.
people get these platforms, and there's such huge opportunities
Yeah.
to do some good.
Yeah.
And they're doing that.
They
Instead
really
of
are.
using the NFL and their Colts head coach position to start up a business,
Yeah.
like they're starting a nonprofit that generates awareness about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And man, all for it.
Yeah.
All for it.
Yeah.
Super supportive of that. Absolutely love and am inspired by
Yeah.
their drive and their passion for making stuff like that happen. So go check that episode out, episode 8. Go check out Not Today.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of events that they're starting to plan, different ways that you can be
I was
involved.
gonna say, if you want to volunteer,
Yeah.
like that's the
Yeah.
place to go.
Yeah, check out their Instagram, social media, their website. If you just Google Not Today, NFL actually did some cool videos on
They
them.
did, yeah.
So go to YouTube and watch some of the videos that NFL has made for them that just really do a good job at sharing their story.
For sure.
But yeah, show them some love. Thank you, Linda, for coming on. Episode 9, Shopping Local with Homespun Modern Handmade.
Yes, this one this for me was another one of. So I love the episode of the Block podcast. That was great, John Nelson. Awesome. In a totally different way, this was also one of my favorites because I love like handcrafted stuff. I love local stuff. Like truly, like this is like when it gets down to the knit and grit. Like this is what it is. And what a fun episode! I took my mom to Homespun when she came up. I took my brother and my sister when we were hanging out. I just love places like that truly just find little creators and little like handcrafted goods from little bars of soap to T-shirts to like whatever you could a little imagine in there. And they're bringing it all in one place in a very aesthetic way, which I personally love as well. But yeah, I mean, she's been doing it for I think it was 10 or 11 years now.
It's been a while. Yeah, she
I mean,
started
my
off
gosh.
in, where was she at? Was she
Irvington as well. I think,
I
it
think,
was Irvington.
She was over there and then moved over to where she's at now with Mass Ave,
yeah.
which is blowing up now because of all the construction and development with Bottle Works.
Yeah.
But no, like super cool to hear. I mean, another driver, like another just go-getter. She lives right down the street from the shop.
Yeah.
She's got her kids in the the store with her all the time. I think one thing we talked about with that episode that I really liked was delegating. Like learning, especially like your baby that you started from scratch. If you're an entrepreneur and you built a business, how hard it is to entrust someone else with the work.
Yeah.
And like she talked about, she started the discussion of like work-life balance and how she had to learn to, okay, if I hired you to do this job, I'm going to trust you to do that job. And I really like that conversation within that, the whole sphere of what they're doing at Homespun Modern Handmade.
Yeah. As most people are just employees, or even if you're a boss, you still have someone over you. It was a very unique conversation to hear someone who started their own business, like you said, from scratch, and then has to be able to trust that to someone else that they're paying. Like it gives you a great perspective on what small business owners have to go through when they plan on expanding or things like that. But speaking of expansion, when we talked to her, we're like, okay. And we generally ask a lot of our guests, like, what are your long-term goals? Like, what are you planning in 5 years? She's like, well, let's start about next week. And she was really able to live and enjoy the moment that she was in and you know, enjoying where her kids were at and where her family was at and where the business is at. And she was like, if it dies out, that's okay.
That her priorities were
priorities
checked.
Yeah, I was like,
with a
oh
bold
my
Sharpie
gosh,
marker.
that's really cool. Like,
She was like,
your
I'm not going to
business-
force my kids to take over the business. If they decide they want to, that's awesome. But if they say, oh, no, I want to be a nurse, good on them.
Yeah.
The business dies, it dies. I had fun. I did what I
Right.
wanted to do, and I built this to support local businesses.
Yeah. And going off on a little tangent with that, though, I think that really, I'm kind of get introspective a lot, but that really made me think quite a bit about, like, because I think it was right around this time, I was really just like, oh, what do I do with my job? Like, where do I go in my life? Like, how much time do I put to one thing or the other? And a lot of my friends go through a lot of the same things, even recently. And it's a good perspective just to remember, like, if you're not enjoying where you're at right now, no matter how hard or difficult or even amazing your situation is in the moment, even if it gets better objectively, you may not enjoy it any much more, because if you can't enjoy what you have now, you're not really going to be truly fulfilled with what you're going to have later on. Like,
Because there's always more.
There's always more to have. There's
Always.
always more
The
money.
richest
There's always
person
a
in the
better
world
car.
can still make more money.
Exactly. So I just thought it was refreshing. It was, again, I like to get deep a lot of times in conversations and stuff, and that for me was just like, okay, that's cool. That was my biggest takeaway potentially of the season.
I loved how, like,
great episode. Yeah.
she is the owner and founder of a very successful shop.
I mean, that has to be the most successful handcrafted shop in Indiana.
One of them.
I mean,
yeah.
it has to be.
But she came in and she's talking about her kids, her family, how like the neighborhood she grew up in,
the
stuff they're doing to help the people that they're getting the products from.
Selfless, very
It's
selfless. Yeah.
awesome. Really,
Yeah.
really good episode. Make sure if you make a trip to Indianapolis,
Yeah.
go into their shop. It's on Mass Ave, really cool area. You can walk around, good walkability, good food over there. But go into Homespun, buy something, show them some love, show the
Yeah.
people that they're supporting some love. Check out the episode, check out what they're doing. Great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode. Episode 10, another good one. Man, we've
Double
had some great
digits.
episodes,
Double
dude.
digits.
Increasing wealth with stockteamup.com.
Wow, yes, man.
Another really good
My gosh.
concept,
Yes.
especially today. So people that
Yeah.
don't know a whole lot about investing, surely you've heard the news with all the stuff that's been going on these past several months with GME,
GameStop,
with
yeah.
all of this Reddit trade stuff, apps like Robinhood, Webull, that are trying to put the power
Yeah.
into our hands to where we have the freedom and ability to invest our money and do it freely. Good concept. Love the idea. The fact that I can log into an app and choose to invest some of my savings,
Yeah.
and I can make those decisions. Unfortunately, I lack education with that. That's kind
As
of why
99%
that's
of
what-
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why for the longest time,
Yeah.
you kind of get someone that's a professional in that, and then you entrust them to do that. Again, pros and cons to both sides, but with these apps in particular, I want to invest. I don't know the slightest thing about investing. I saw a story where a guy had been charged, was it in taxes, like millions of dollars in taxes because he didn't know that if you make a trade for one company and then buy stock in another company that's similar in function, that it taxes you somewhere. Like, he just didn't know that stuff, and that's stuff that, like, professionals know.
Yeah.
Well, Income Stock Team Up, they are all about putting the power in your hands. They're all about giving you the freedom and the ability to invest and do all of the things that you want to do as far as investment
I was
opportunities
going
go.
to say, and generating long-term wealth.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But educating you.
Yes. Yeah.
They were very heavy on, okay, now that people are starting to get the opportunities to invest, let's make sure that we're investing in them and giving them the education that they need so that they're not screwed.
Yeah.
And that they're doing the most wise things they can do to help increase their wealth over time.
It is very, I don't know how to word this, but it really truly is very easy to generate wealth if you know how to do it. That's why the rich.
It's not a hard,
It's not
a hard concept.
really not that difficult, but like
It takes discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes really just some basic understanding of how some things work, and that's what they provide. They provide it's a social, as of right now, it's a social media platform in a way where you follow traders that are successful. Like, you're going to see how they're trading, what they're trading, when they're trading, and why they're trading. And you're going to see all of it. There's people with comments asking questions. You can become different parts of group depending on like where you're located. And it's just such a, if you're interested in, if you have a savings account, you're like, okay, why do I have all this cash in my savings account getting me 0.01% a year? let's put it in maybe just some mutual funds. Or like you want to invest it, and so you're going to make some sort of return. You don't know what. Follow some people on there. Kind of understand what you can do. You can simulate some of your own trades if you want to, and like become like you can follow people. People maybe start following you. You can ask each other questions. Like it's just a great place, like you were just saying, to learn and to grow. And I think for me, a cool thing behind it was the reason he started. He was like, he hadn't told anybody before coming on our podcast, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he was I can't remember exactly where he was, but he's just like wanting to help the everyday person. And I can't remember the exact story he told, and I wish I could now. But basically, just like he wanted to help you and me and people that are. He had mentioned minorities as well. Like there needs to be a path for people that everyday people should have access to this and understand what they're doing. And like everybody deserves to be able to do that. And he's really putting the power in their hands, and also just being wickedly smart. When we were talking to him on the episode, he used to be, didn't he do something in like
aerospace
3D
engineering
and like aerospace? Yeah, like aerospace engineering, and he created like the algorithm for the like the coding itself for the social media. Like he is extraordinarily smart, and so it was a really cool pairing of his wits and being able to bring this ultra valuable platform to everyday people to become and grow long-term wealth. I think was really cool just because having that security of, day trading is cool. You can make a lot. You can also lose a lot. Having that security for the long term is very, very important. It does, like you said, it takes a lot of discipline, but it is really, really rewarding.
Yeah. I think this was another example, a different example of selflessness.
Yeah.
Apps like Webull, Robinhood, they win either way.
Yep.
Every time you make a trade, whether you lose money or make money, they make money. And stuff like Stock Team Up, they want you to make money. They don't care if you make a trade. They want you to make a good trade.
Yeah.
They want to invest in you and make sure that you're educated. Another platform that was built solely on selflessness.
Yeah.
Like nothing else. They didn't build this so that they could make money. They built this so that they could educate peoples and people groups about how to invest, how to be wise, and how to increase your wealth over a period of time. So great episode 10 with StockTeamUp.com. Go check out our episode. Check out their website. Get signed up. They've got it's really easy to get signed up, start a platform, start a profile, and just start to educate yourself. If you're wanting to get into investing yourself, go check them out. Next episode,
we got 3 more? My gosh.
11.
4 more?
The Grind of Art with Justin Vining, who is a painter and a very talented one at that.
Yeah. And we've interviewed quite a few different types of artists. I liked he was very personal and very talkative, which I appreciate.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like you get the idea of an artist being, in his little hole, not wanting to come out and whatever, but he was all about talking about it. I don't want to spend too long on this episode just because we have talked to a lot of artists, but I loved how he's, again, turned his passion into something that he is continuing to pursue. He called it an addiction, and to me, it was just the fact that he was 100% in. Like, he was just, that was his life, and he was pursuing it, and it was what he loved to do, and it's like, good on you, man. Like, that is so cool.
Well, he said, too, like, if he wasn't doing this for a living, he'd still be doing this.
Exactly.
He's like, if I wasn't painting for my job, I'd be painting.
Yep.
I don't know what I would do without painting.
Right.
And I really liked how every trip that him and his wife go on, he
yes, dude.
like it's a vacation,
souvenir.
But he gets to go and relax and do what he loves to do, even though it's his job.
Yeah.
He's on vacation. He's still doing the thing he does in his job. That's how passionate he is. But he'll paint a canvas and they'll hang it up from every vacation that they've been on. I thought that was so cool. And he's done some really cool stuff too. He does a lot of like live paintings.
Yeah,
so he did
growing really
cult
rapidly
stuff.
too. Yeah,
he did something in New Harmony, Indiana, which is a beautiful little town down south.
It is.
And he's doing. Didn't he?
He just
opened up
he's doing his own art
gallery.
He has his own art gallery now.
Yeah, they opened up a
which is
studio
huge,
gallery,
yeah.
and I think they're doing events there here in the near future. It's really cool. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
Oh man, it's awesome. Let's see if I can pull up a picture. But no, yeah, they're doing some awesome stuff over there. And again, just the passion and the drive.
The last thing I'll say for him, actually, I forgot all about this till just now, how he was able to incorporate numbers and data from previous jobs into the success of him selling his paintings now. Do you remember that? He was using like data analytics to like do the pricing for his artwork, and like you don't hear of artists doing that.
Oh my goodness,
And
he
was,
had that
like,
down.
Doing that, and he was also helping others that came into his art gallery with it, like
Yes.
saying, if you raise your price by $100, you have this % chance less. Like he had it down to a science.
He knew which size painting would sell the best,
yes.
how long it would take to sell,
Yeah.
how much it would sell for, the
Right.
percentage of it selling more or less
Yeah.
at certain price.
Right.
Man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
That was, yes,
That
very,
was just
very
a
true.
cool. You don't. I don't even know, because I was talking to him like, how do you price an art piece? Like who values what? You have a piece of gray canvas that someone's gonna buy for $2 million. We talked about that a little bit on there, and I thought that was interesting. So you definitely need to go listen to it. Are you gonna find this picture?
Yeah, I got it. So this is a before and after picture.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you guys can see that. No, you're definitely not going to be able to see that. Whatever. Really cool studio. Vining Gallery, VINING GALLERY on Instagram. And then Justin Vining on Instagram. Go follow him. Really, really good paintings. Really good prices, honestly.
Yeah.
And just a really good dude. Like, if I
Yeah.
ever wanted to buy
I'm
art
glad
from
to
someone
talk
in
to you, yeah.
Indianapolis, I get art from him.
Yeah.
He's got a good story. He's got a good heart. He's passionate about what he does. Great episode. That is episode 11, The Grind of Art with Justin Vining.
So definitely go check out his episode 11. Check out his gallery. Check out his Instagram, and go buy some of his art. Episode 12 is what we're
Yep,
on now?
episode 12, Trucking Along with Joshua Leone.
Yes.
This story, I think, is the epitome of many, many individuals coming out of this last year as far as the downfalls.
Yeah.
Been in corporate job for over a decade, I think.
I mean, that was his life. Yeah.
Yeah. Really successful too. It's not like he was let off because of a failure to perform. Like
Right.
he had just landed a multi-million-dollar job.
Yeah.
Like doing everything right.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits, pack your stuff, you got to
Yeah.
go. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And man, just the inspiration from hearing someone like him come out of that and do a complete 180.
Yeah. Making
Like,
a lot of money now.
Complete
Yeah.
180.
Dude, I mean, so he's in the supply chain industry, basically a supply chain broker, where he says, oh, this person needs this. Here's an empty truck in this part of the country. Here's how we can get it to you. So that's kind of what he does. He coordinates all of that. And in just a few short months, I mean, he is making an extraordinary amount of
4
money.
times what he made in corporate life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's his own boss, and he's thinking about already expanding and getting employees, which is incredible. But also just a genuine good family man. Talked about his wife, and then you could tell that he truly loved his family, which, he kept it real.
Yeah.
He didn't get too caught up, even though he was already this successful. It's not like, oh, that's the only thing that was on his mind. Like he mentioned, like how his wife kept him under lock, kept him under control and everything all the time, and how his kid would come sit on his lap while he's working, and how he loved that. And so I just like the fact that he was like he was, again, a very real person.
Yep.
And someone that I would be very happy to follow in the steps of. That's the kind of guy that I would want to be. Someone who's successful, works very, very hard, and yet still understands the importance of the family. And I mean, his mental health too. Like, I remember when he got fired, he didn't know what to do, so he built a greenhouse for a month and a half.
That's
or 2 months.
I was going to go into that. Like, just
Yeah.
inspiring nonetheless. His story.
Yeah.
Just take the story at its surface. Corporate America, 10 years, loses his job, takes a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Like,
That's got to be crazy.
whoa,
Yeah.
life just swept the rug right out of me.
Yeah.
And built a greenhouse, did some work, gathered his thoughts, pulled up his bootstraps and said, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. There's no turning back. And just worked.
Yeah.
And I think that is so countercultural right now.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing and
It is.
inspiring. And something that I think a lot of people who have had difficult situations handed to them walk into this episode.
They need to hear. Yeah.
Walk into this episode soft-hearted, humble, and willing to be inspired.
Yeah.
To go do something. And I say that lovingly. It's not like, oh, you had this bad situation, now get out and do something different.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to take a month to build a greenhouse, do that.
Yeah.
Gather your thoughts, really do some deep introspection and thinking, and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And then start getting to work. Like, be diligent.
Yeah.
Go to work. Find something that you're going to do well and do it well.
Yeah.
And, man, this story, just hearing how he came from where he was with the terrible hand that he was dealt.
Yeah.
And just turning it into a royal flush.
Yeah.
Like, just super, super inspiring story. Anything else with that episode?
No. We gotta
right.
keep moving here.
Episode 13, Showing Up with Storefront Theater,
Yeah.
Indianapolis. We had Ronan Mara on the episode.
Another place I didn't know existed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like, such a unique, such a niche little market.
I was gonna say it's very unique. That's the perfect word. I mean, like you.
But it's also, like, intimate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's not like you go to Broadway show, you're 1 in 1,000 sitting in the crowd, and you don't get to see or be a part of the experience. This is like, we went into the studio and checked it out. It's like the stage is the whole area. Like, the actors interact with the guests. The stage is kind of like 360, and it
is really, really awesome.
Such a cool.
It's a cool idea, and it was awesome how I think the biggest thing he said was how the community just welcomed him in. For me, again, that was kind of the main point of that episode, and that's this one's a little bit more fresh in the mind, so I remember a bit more things. But Broad Ripple is a I just moved from there, is a very cool place to live. I will admit, a lot of, again, unique business models, restaurants, things like that, and a place like that. It looks from, like, we're driving by, we couldn't even find it to start with.
No, I know.
The little entrance door is so small, but it's pink, so we found it. But you go in there and you go down in the basement, you're like, oh, whoa, this is a massive area.
Huge.
And they had like an art gallery already set up while we were there. They had an area in the back that someone had like set up used to be like a chef's table, and they had some medicine balls rolling around in there. The other section way in the back right was the theater place. I was like, man, this is huge. This is awesome. I didn't know this was here. So for me, just being able to see, again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in episode, I think it was episode 1, like the unique type of businesses, and that the variety of what you get in a city makes it all the more joyful and
the city
fun
shows
to be
up.
around. Yeah,
The city shows up every time.
Yeah.
I mean, now, granted, if you're doing something terrible, the city's not going to show up.
Right.
But if you've got a passion and a desire to provide something for the city will show up.
Yeah.
And this community is determined to make that happen. And again, his story where he had this idea, came in from out of town, wanted to start this, found the community of Broad Ripple, got the support. He said 67% of their income is from charitable causes.
Yeah.
And just seeing everything happen and fall into place at the work of the community. Super cool episode, super cool, unique business. Go check them out. Show them some love. They've got
I was gonna say they have a show coming up
show
this
in September,
fall.
I think.
Yeah, September.
Go watch a show with them.
Yeah.
It won't be anything. It won't be like anything you've ever seen before or experienced. And I think it'll be really cool. Date night idea. Or just go by yourself. Meet some new friends. You know,
Absolutely.
Show them some fun. Storefront Theater Indianapolis. That was episode 13 with us. On to the next one and the final one. Wow. Episode 14.
14 episodes.
Tinker Coffee.
Where did time go?
We went to Tinker Coffee's roastery on 16th Street here in Indianapolis. Got to see all of the stuff that they've got going on, all of the machinery, all of the processes that go on before they bag it up and ship it to you guys and to other coffee shops. Really cool story.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a coffee drinker in Indianapolis, and I said this in the morning show,
who
you know
Tinker is.
Tinker, or even if you don't, you have drank some Tinker coffee before, and high quality coffee.
Extremely high quality.
And you're a coffee connoisseur. You can vouch for that. It is amazing coffee. Super nice guy too. Being able to sit down, bring us into his space.
Yeah.
To do that was, I will always remember that. And yeah, what a cool opportunity. Be able to go in there, hear about. Really, there's so many different things, like you said, beyond the bean too. Like there's a bunch of stuff that goes with coffee that you just don't even think about. I mean, the marketing behind it, the sourcing of the beans, the label on the packaging. I mean, instead of going 2 sides of the label, we decided to go 1 side of the label.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what? I never even would think about that. So, there's a lot of information in there. You learn a little bit about coffee culture in the episode, and you learn about, I would say, probably one of the best coffees that you can drink in Indianapolis. If they're opening up some shops, they have one open in the airport. I think they're opening another one up near 16th Street, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I love the episode. I like drinking coffee, so I especially loved being there. And
this episode was really refreshing. It was really cool to see how young this company is. Like, it's really easy to look back and think that, like, this is such a huge coffee roastery that you think they're huge and they've been around for a long time. I think 2014 was when they started.
Dang, I guess
it's only 7 years
for
ago.
Being as successful as they are. Yeah.
I know. You would never guess.
They ship globally, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
How do you... What?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just crazy to see how, like, they are intentional at maintaining quality, maintaining integrity, and we talked about the coffee culture.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to make sure that they didn't just conform. They wanted to really embody the community of Indianapolis and make that a part of their brand.
Yeah.
And especially now as they're opening up shops, opening up locations.
Say it's definitely paying off now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So really, really, really good episode. Go get some Tinker coffee, man. Go check them out. Get you a nice cup of Tinker coffee. Show them some love. I mean, they've got plenty of love, but show them some. Go watch our episode with them. Check them out on social media. They're going to be starting to release some videos that share brewing tips, so how to brew at home.
Episode 14,
episode
season
14,
2, our last episode. Crazy.
So that concludes the recap of season 2 on the Hustle Indie Show. It flew by. We are now 26, so this will be the 27th episode, right? 26 episodes in. Unreal. Super cool experience. Like you said at the beginning of this, just stories and people and businesses that you would have never known had you not had this opportunity. And super thankful for you guys, the listeners, for allowing us this space to be able to have conversations, to share these stories, to highlight these businesses, and hopefully continue that trend of building up the community and supporting people and showing them the awareness and the love that they deserve and getting them off to the right foot.
Yeah, and the biggest shout out before we end here, biggest shout out to Ryan and Ashley.
Yes.
With the FS Houses. They are extraordinary people to be able to put faith in two young guys to do a podcast like this, being able to help sponsor it, being able to help us find guests in the beginning and just have faith in us to do it and execute it and bring some quality content to you guys. And I mean, this show has really helped me grow quite a bit, just in an understanding of the city, of some of the things, like some of the deep conversations we had, understanding more about myself even. So very grateful to them. Thank you so much, Ryan and Ashley. You guys are seriously the bomb for letting us do this.
Ryan and Ashley Mullen of FS Houses.
Yes, yeah.
I want to make that clear. FS Houses is they're the people that allow this to happen.
Yeah.
They help fund it. They help sponsor it. They provide the space for us, the equipment. So again, looking to buy, sell a house, FS Houses down here in Fountain Square. They also do rentals. So we've got some rental properties. If you need somewhere to rent, check them out. They've got plenty of awesome rentals here in Indianapolis and the surrounding area. But yes, thank you, Ryan and Ashley. Thank you, FS Houses, for sponsoring this podcast. Hopefully, we get to continue it.
Yeah. We'll maybe get a little bit more on the morning show, potentially. Some more details.
All right, Be sure to tune in. If you didn't know, we do have a live stream on Monday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Ian and I hop on. We chat live with people that are commenting, asking questions. We talk about the previous episode. We kind of unpack things a little bit more laid back.
Very casual.
We get our morning started. We get our week started. We like to have some fun. Try and bring some energy to Monday mornings. Because Monday mornings have this really, really bad connotation to them. But be sure to check us out on Facebook every Monday morning, live at 10:30 a.m. We're hanging out. You guys can ask us questions. Share stuff that you're doing. We had one lady talk about selling Girl Scout cookies. So we were able to highlight that. Be sure this coming Monday morning, come interact with us. If you have suggestions for our future with the podcast, come share them with us. Comment, share the Monday morning with other people. Just come hang out with us. Get your Monday morning started off strong. It's a lot of fun. Again, thank you guys so much for the last 14 episodes of this season. We couldn't thank you enough. We hope that you show our guests some love, because that's what this is all about. Make sure you go support them. Help link arms with the community of Indianapolis at large, and continue to build and develop our city and the people in it. I don't think I got anything else.
That was very well said.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another season of the Hustle Indy Show. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.
It's